Hey boys and girls, welcome back to first grade at home. How was Monday? I hope you were able to get your work done and it wasn't too much or too little and you had some fun doing it. We're going to start right away with the same thing that we did yesterday, our calendar. So today is the 112th day of school and I've made our card. And today is March 17th. And that is actually called St. Patrick's Day. People do that and celebrate the saint whose name is St. Patrick. And they wear green, so maybe you'll wear green today. And here's our copy work. So make sure you do those two things first, and then we move on to math. We're gonna do a review like we did yesterday. That review is a sheet that you've done before. It's counting by fives up to 100. And you can start with the 5 in the upper left-hand corner. Don't skip any. 10, 15, and then that will be 20. That's right. So I'll put in 20. So you go all the way up to 100. And if you have 100 in the lower right-hand corner, you haven't missed any. Then you go back and make the 5 tally marks in every box. So I'll do the tally marks in the box that has 20, and I'll just keep doing that. There's a small sheet attached to that, and it's those problems that we practiced yesterday. 2 numbers, when put together, make 10. The boxes and the problems are vertical now. Yesterday we did them across, but now they're vertical, so you need to remember what the answer would be, or if it helps you to write the pattern out, 0 plus 10 equals 10, 1 plus 9 equals 10. You can do that because all of that helps you to practice. So finish both of these pages first, and then we're going to go on and do a couple more things. I've got some numbers here on the board and some sheets. I'm going to just take this one off for a moment because we're going to work on these numbers. You can see I put numbers across the top: 77, 19, 31, 26, 42. And what I did was put them in order from the lowest number to the highest number. We did this on Thursday, but I gave you number cards and had you line yourself up. And some of you were able to do it right away, and some of you it was a little harder to think, how do I do that? So you need to look at the number. The very first number in the 2 digits is the one that you look at, and they have to be in order. But look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, the 1 from the 19, the 2 from the 26, the 3 from the 31, the 4 from the 42, but then it goes to 77 because we skipped numbers. So this is just lining up numbers from lowest number to the highest number. So I just wanted to remind you that we can do that because I might have you do something like that. Now look at these papers here. I've given you some Geodot paper in your folder. 2 pages already have some dots connected. Now what we're doing is making congruent shapes. Yesterday you learned a new word, addend. Today the word is congruent. That means shapes that are the same. So here's the first one. And you have to make your blank paper exactly like this. Not just another rectangle, not just a rectangle that you like. You have to make the one that I made. Now if you look at this, you can see the lines are across the top and they're vertical, but they all have points where 2 lines connect. So the first thing you have to do on your paper is find those points where the lines connect and circle them like I did. And then after that, you're going to take the ruler that's in your math envelope, and you are going to use it to draw lines between the dots. So I'm lining it up with the end of one ruler on one dot and the other ruler matching to that dot. And I'm going to follow the ruler. So I'm not just drawing my line, I am following the ruler to make the exact shape. So I'm almost finished here with this one, and then I'll put my ruler down here and I'll finish the very last line. And the second one here has two shapes, and you will also have a second sheet, and I want you to draw exactly like I did. So you have to find the end points. That's where the two lines come together. Look at the top line. It's not the first dot, it's the second dot from the left. So we circle that. I put a little circle around that dot. Then we go down 3 dots from the left side, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna go down here, 1, 2, 3, and circle that one. Now I have to find my last dot. So I go from this bottom one, I count that as 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and I circle that. And then what do? I take my marker and my ruler, and I join those dots together with a line, following it on the edge of my ruler, and I'm making a congruent shape. Now I've only made the first one, so you know what you have to do. You have to make both of them. Neither one of these is finished, so that's something that you will do for your math, and then you will be done with math. Don't forget, that whiteboard is for you to use, so if you have extra time or interest, then you can use your marker. Make sure you get an eraser, which is a rag, or a paper towel, so you're ready to do whatever you like. Counting, we would do lots of patterns. We can count by 5s. You could count from 1 by 1s and go up to 100. There's a lot of ways to use that wipe-off board, so make sure you do. Now after math, we always do spelling. Yesterday you had your spelling words in the pocket. I have mine, and you used all of your letters. Now I hope you've cut them out and you have them in the envelope. Now I will tell you what I'm doing. I'm here in my kitchen, and I've just left my table set up because I have another table in the dining room where I can eat dinner or breakfast. So I've left my table set up. And I've left my letters here. I've left my board here. I have my can of supplies. I have a bin just like you, and I have my things in there. And I put something else here, some beautiful tulips, because it makes me feel happy to think about spring and look at flowers. So my table's all ready to go. So I know I can spell my letters. Now this time, we're not only going to use them and use the letters and spell them a couple of times, we're going to write them on the wipe-off board. And then tomorrow you're going to use that new folder that has those little pieces that go up and down. So remember, I look at the first letter, E, A, and here's my T. So I get that and I spell it. I put it all together so I can see it a little bit separated from my rest of my letters, and I look at it, E-A-T, I spell it, and I think about it, and this time, I'm gonna write it. So I'm gonna write E-A-T. So it's almost like I've learned to spell it. And that could be one that you already know, and that's okay. It's always a good thing to practice. So I'm going to take that and put it down because I'm going to mix myself up a little bit because I learned these yesterday. So I'm going to start with the last one. Like, L-I-K, and E. And so I hope these letters are working for you. They are a little hard to pick up and move around, but you know what? That's okay. That's for you to use. Like. And now I'm going to write it on my board, like, and I remember it has that magic E that makes the I say its name. So I'm going to put these back, and then I'm going to do my next one, U. So here's Y-O-U. So now I have U, and I can read that one, Y-O-U. Y-O-U, I know how that is spelled, and I've got that on my board, and I'm going to take that one and put that away, and then I'll do my last one, which I've done eat before, E-A-T, and I like that I-N-G part, so I'm going to, let's see if I can get this here in the picture. I-N-G, and put them together. They can be right next to each other. Eating, eating, and I-N-G. We kind of worked on that before. So E-A-T-I-N-G. Alrighty. Then you had an additional word that was a word from your writing that you hadn't spelled correctly, and you put that on the list. So use that last word, and then you can put these all away. If they get a little bit mixed up, that's okay. It's always good to practice and put them back into order and get them ready for tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to use that little folder that flips up, and I'm going to show you something new. So now we have finished with our spelling. And boys and girls, you've got lots of letters here. Let's say you want to spell some more words. This is something you can do because you're doing school at home, and if you want to have some fun with these things and you really like doing it, go right ahead. So now we're done with spelling, and after spelling comes writing, and then comes reading, and you know how to do that. You take your writing folder out, make sure that you're working on a piece, if you have finished a piece, and you can check with mom or dad or your brother or your sister and see if you have actually finished it, that you've written something that makes sense. So if you read it out loud, people would understand you, and it has some kind of an ending. You just haven't written 2 sentences. If you've only written 2 sentences, you need to add some more. Then you take out your books and make sure you read for 15 to 20 minutes. I really hope you keep on practicing that. If you come across a word that you don't know, please ask your parents or your brothers and sisters, and they can help you read it. They can help you sound it out. They can tell you, oh, you can't sound that one out. You can't sound out the word could, C-O-U-L-D. You have to remember that one, so they can help you with that. And you can reread your books. I'm hoping you'll make a list of these books that you've read, and we'll eventually get those on those little book tabs that we have on our bulletin board. So, but that's for later. Okay, so you are all finished for part 1 of Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, and I'll see you soon. I'm going to read pretty soon. Bye-bye.